Gettysburg's first and premier podcast about living in and visiting Gettysburg has returned from that long commercial break. Thanks for sticking around. Here's Matt.
Thank you. Okay, so we are back now with our guest, Peter Monahan. Peter was born, where do you think he was born, Beth?
Were you a Gettysburgian?
I was born in Gettysburg.
There you go.
I thought so. So, what you don't know about you is that...
I got a really long list of accomplishments.
Okay, never mind. Shut up.
Can we...
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Is that there's like an era. Did you know that? There's like the Pete Monahan era.
Of what?
Of Gettysburg history.
Oh, this is interesting.
Wow.
Yeah. So like when you started, being in charge of things, there was like a changeover. There used to be, do you remember the guy that, oh gosh darn it.
What did he do?
Oh my God.
I don't, you got to give me a clue, and then I'll guess
Max
it.
Felty was here and he talked about this guy.
Ken?
Who used to own everything. That he bought a lot of stuff.
Oh no.
Leroy Smith.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there was like the Leroy Smith era.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And now there's the Pete Monahan era.
Did you know that, Pete?
I did not.
No, I didn't know that
When we
either.
talk about you, because we do, because the foundation, we do stuff in town and we talk about things. There's the Pete Monahan era now.
Didn't realize
You're
that.
so popular.
Now, Pete is it like a reign of terror? Like, what are you saying?
It could be.
Like, I mean, what are you talking about? What is the era? What defines the Pete Monahan era?
It's just like when you started like really becoming more involved in town and
It was probably
businesses and things.
1995.
I was going to say, it's a while ago.
Like kind of around when the Friends had been established, but had not really kicked into high gear yet. It's the Pete Monahan era.
It's interesting because you graduated Gettysburg High School in 1978.
Correct.
That was the year I was born. So that means you're 46 years older than me? Is that how that math works? That can't be right.
That can't be right.
No, because you'd be 92?
Wait,
80,
what?
80.
Say what you just said.
I'm just making a math joke. Like, I don't know how to do math. Obviously,
so this is
he's...
your camera, by the way.
Right here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
What does he care?
I was just letting him know.
All right, so it was 1978, and then you go to Mount St. Mary's.
Correct.
You attended classes at Johns Hopkins University, management school.
Yes.
Just general management, or?
No, it was for a master's in management.
All right. And then your career began, you did 11 years at Westinghouse.
Correct.
And what's interesting is this experience kind of plants something in your head about what to do and what not to do in hotels.
So working for Westinghouse, it was their defense division.
Okay.
And they would build radars for the B-1 bomber, F-16, AWACS. And so I had a Department of Defense secret clearance. I had a NATO secret clearance. And so anyway, that 11 years of traveling and writing subcontracts for military parts to build the radars.
Right.
Really, I could pick now the good hotels and the bad ones.
Right.
Yeah.
But so that's going to come in handy later, though.
Yes.
Now, you're a third generation hotelier. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yes.
Or hotelier?
Hotelier.
Okay. So was it your father and grandfather? Or?
No, it was my mother's mother and my mother's grandfather. So they owned a hotel on Wildwood Crest in New Jersey.
Yeah, all right.
Right on the shore. And they owned it for 40 couple years. And as a kid, we'd always go down there and so forth. My mother worked there, for my grandmother.
Yeah.
And,
okay, so it's on your mother's side because your father started a funeral home.
So my dad was a World War II vet. He was in the 10th Mountain Division with Bob Dole.
Okay.
Fought, two major battles over in Italy. Came back and worked for a funeral home in Philadelphia. And then decided that he'd get his license to be a funeral director. And then In 1954, moved to Gettysburg, and I was born, a couple years later.
Right.
And then he bought the funeral home in 1964.
Okay.
So 60 years ago, he purchased the funeral home, and our family has run it ever since.
And this is the one on Carlisle Street.
This is the one on Carlisle Street.
Do you also have one in Fairfield?
In Fairfield.
In Fairfield as
Correct.
well. Right. Okay. So, but the Carlisle Street one was the first one.
That's correct.
Okay. And
the fancy one.
Huh?
It's the fancy one.
The neat thing about that is that's a Civil War building. It was built in 1859.
Okay.
And it has great history.
So it was only a few years old when the battle happened. That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and your brother Bill runs that.
Bill and Tom.
And Tom.
Yes.
I don't think I met Tom. I know I met you, Bill, Bob. I didn't know about Tom.
Yes.
Okay. So, and you had no interest in that.
No, too many Monahans in the funeral business.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then, but where did your interest in hotels come from? Did you grow up, going to the one that your grandmother owned, or was that all before you came around?
No, it was, we did go to my grandmother's hotel, and, but the real thing was, I was working for Westinghouse in Baltimore. And when I started at that division, there were 17,000 employees at that division. So 11 years later, there were 9,000 employees.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to get caught up in that mess. So I decided to come back to Gettysburg and, negotiated with the Larsons. They owned the Quality Inn, they owned General Lee's headquarters, and they owned General Lee's family restaurant. Mm-hmm. So negotiated with them and purchased that property.
And were they like on the road to retirement?
They were on the road. They were in their early 70s.
Okay.
Wanted to retire.
Yeah.
So we
worked out a deal.
Yes.
Yeah. And then how long did you run that for?
Ran that for 17 years. And then I sold my share out to my brothers. And then they sold the whole entire thing out to the Battlefield Trust.
Right. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then you did something really cool. Maybe you did other things in between, but the next cool thing I know you did is you take the old Meade School and you turned it into Federal Pointe Inn.
Correct.
Okay.
Super cool.
So you say that you like blending the old and the new, and I love that stuff too. Like, I think there's really something cool about either a new house with old furniture or an old house with new furniture, a new kitchen, but all like modern stuff, but there's a way to kind of blend it all together. But I know you're talking about something a lot more intricate than that. And you took an old school and made it into a hotel, but you incorporate elements of the school into the hotel. I remember a friend of mine stayed there once, and I said, I'm going to come pick you up. I want to see what it looks like inside. And so I went to his room, and the chalkboard, I don't remember if the chalkboard was still there or it was just the ledge. The ledge. Okay.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's pretty neat. But you could also just tell from the rest of the room that you're in an old classroom.
Cool.
Right.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Well, we took we left what we could of the school. It had been a school for 100 years, and then daycare, Head Start daycare for 15. And then they ran out of money, and that's when I had the bright idea in 2012 to purchase it and then, convert it from the school into the hotel.
What gave you that idea?
I wanted to stay in the hotel business, after selling out to my brothers. Uh-huh. And so, it was a great building. Yeah. It just needed a lot of love and a lot of money. Mm-hmm. So, that's what I took, what I had made from the sale up at the Quality Inn, and then used that to fund the hotel.
And how long did that take to? And what do you do? Go to a architect, or who do you go to say, I got this school and I want to make it a hotel?
So two things happened. Number one is Gary Schaefer, who's an architect in town, loves historic buildings and repurposing them. Oh, okay. So he had already had the prints drawn up for the entire school.
Just on a whim, he did it one time?
It was a request from, and I forget who it was. So he had the layout of the entire building. And so I went to him. That's the hard part. Yeah, I went to him and said, how can we put rooms in there? How can we put a restaurant and a pub in there? And eventually, we took the attic, which is 4,000 square feet, converted the attic into our living quarters.
Yeah, so you live up there.
We do.
That's so cool. That's probably the coolest part.
Yeah.
So it has up there 4,000 square feet, 17-foot ceilings. And
that must be awesome.
Yeah, it had never been
When you're ready to sell, talk to me.
My God.
I'll just pretend to be able to buy it.
We'll just go look at it.
You're more than welcome anytime.
Okay, so you're living up there. Now, here's what I like, among many things about the place, but I've gone downstairs and eaten there a few times. And I remember the first time I went there, I was just kind of walking around looking at what you have on the walls. And you have like class pictures.
Yes.
From, where do you get those?
I started out, went to the Historical Society, and they gave me like 3.
Okay.
And then people started to come in and go, well, I went to school here. Yeah, I'll give you my class picture. Or
cool.
My mother went to school here. I'll give you your class picture. So 100 class pictures later.
Nice.
Then I had them framed and put it on the wall. And, really, it was really cool.
That
neat.
It is neat. It's, I love to stay in a place like that where there's a sense of, there's a connection to the town or where you are, and that it's built in an old school. And you've got the class pictures of the students who once went through those halls, and you can almost like hear their annoying little laughter echoing. No. But I mean, it's a nice touch though, because those kids, I remember we were looking at them, and I forgot what year it was, but it was a while ago. I mean, as they go back, what's the oldest picture you have?
The oldest picture we have is 1904.
Okay. So it was one of back there somewhere. And I remember looking at it, and I said to my friend, and this is a terribly depressing thing to think about, but I'm like, those kids are all dead.
Yeah.
They're all gone.
Yeah.
And but you're looking at them as little kids. And it's just sad that they got all old and wrinkled and crumpled and
oh my God.
And like we all do. And they're gone, but not really, because they're on the wall there forever. Yeah. That's pretty neat.
The neat thing also is, along those same lines, is no one smiled in the picture.
Right.
Everyone had a frown on their face.
Yeah. They didn't have air conditioning.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's probably why.
Yeah.
Now, can you imagine what would have happened in that building if you hadn't done that?
Yeah, that's a great question.
It could have been converted into condos or offices or whatever.
Was it in good condition when you got it?
No, it was in a horrible condition. Yeah. Horrible.
What were the problems?
The first thing was the sewer line that went out to the front was crushed. So you'd flush the toilet and nothing would go out.
Oh.
So we had to dig up the front lawn, put a brand new sewer line, which was beneficial in the long run. Yeah.
Did that cause World War III?
No, it didn't. For the most part, the borough wanted something good to happen. Mm-hmm. And the other thing, too, is I got a historic tax credit. So I went through the state and I went through the National Park Service to get a tax credit. Mm-hmm. So for every $1 I put into the building, 25 cents back in a tax credit.
Okay.
So that was another beneficial.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
Beth, ask him how much it was built as the first high school in Gettysburg. Ask him how much it cost to build.
So it was built as the first high school in Gettysburg. How much did it cost to build?
So back in 1896, the school cost $20,000.
As it does, buildings back then.
Yeah.
And so the architect was from York. And he also did another building in Gettysburg over at Gettysburg College and Gladfelder Hall.
Oh. Okay.
He did Gladfelder Hall and Meade School. And the unique thing about the two buildings is his signature was putting gargoyles on the building.
Oh.
So on the front of our building are 4 gargoyles, and the same with Gladfelder Hall at Gettysburg College.
What is the symbolism of the gargoyle?
Well, it's to ward off evil spirits.
But they look evil.
Well, they're dogs. So
like Satan's dogs.
They look like
devil dogs.
Boxer dogs.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is that it? But don't they have wings?
No.
What am I thinking of? That has wings.
Well,
there are gargoyles
some
that
do
some
have
do,
wings,
but these
the
don't.
ones on ours don't.
Okay.
Just dog-looking gargoyles.
Okay. But that is a unique thing, though. Imagine going to school with gargoyles on it.
I did go to
now
school
the schools
with
are so.
gargoyles
You
on
did?
it. Yeah.
Where? Oh, Clarion. Yeah.
So,
We won't mention that.
Pete. So when you were redoing the building,
Yes.
what was I'm from Clarion. That's a clip of me being. Oh, he can't hear it.
He doesn't have the headphones on. I'm sorry.
He's playing clips of me being ridiculous,
saying that she's from Clarion.
Yeah. So, what was the weirdest thing you found?
The weirdest thing. Behind every slate was a person's name, and they dated it. So a lot of the names were local names like Bigham or Wazotsky. So that was neat because we took all the slate off so people wouldn't write on it or whatever. We left everything else there, but, like the chalk seal and the outline,
right?
Blackboard. But
what'd you do with the chalkboards?
I kept them. I still have them. We used some of them down at a pub.
Yeah, they're down.
And they're actual slate, not the whatever they had.
They're actual slate, and they weigh
a
million
pounds.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
though.
so that was one of the neat things.
Yeah.
So then when you say behind the slate, on the wall or on the slate itself?
No, on the wall itself.
On the wall. So they just, whoever put it up, signed their names.
That's a very common practice.
Yeah.
Yes.
So my dad used to work for Northern York County School District. Mm-hmm. And when they redid the building that is it's now apartments, but it was the administration building for a long, long time. And on the top floor, it was still classrooms when my sister and I were little, and we would play school while Dad was working because, of course, why not? So when they converted that upstairs floor into offices, Dad took the chalkboards. Huh. So when we were making the children's museum, they were like, we should have a response wall with chalkboard. And they're like, it's too expensive and they're too heavy and da-da-da. I'm like, well, if one happened to have a piece of chalkboard in their basement, would that work? And that's what I did with mine. So mine's in the Children's Museum. People pay big bucks for slate chalkboard.
Do they really?
Yeah. They're really neat.
Yeah.
Because you can't get them anymore.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, ours are, 120 years old?
Yeah.
So.
And they're local.
Yes.
Like, you could say it's from a local school, and that would be... I don't know.
Yeah.
Where can we put them? Not that I'm trying to use your chalkboards for you, but where can we put them?
Put them in my house. All right.
We're
now
not doing that.
You also, so you've got the Federal Pointe Inn.
Correct.
And then Dunlap's is now the Federal Pointe Grill.
Correct.
And what'd you do? Buy that, or what's the deal with that?
So May a year ago, we purchased from the Dunlaps. They want to retire. So we purchased the Dunlaps and just took it over and still maintain it. We don't do dinners there. We do breakfast and lunch. And then we do the dinners over in the hotel in the Point Pub.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
So dinners in the Point Pub and then breakfast and lunch at the grill.
I have breakfast there once a month.
Where at Dunlap's? Yeah, I'll often go there too because there's not a lot of places in town to get breakfast. And Dunlap's, a Federal Pointe Grill.
No, I call it Dunlap's.
Yeah, I know.
Too.
It's hard to break yourself into the habit.
Yeah.
But it's good. It's a good breakfast.
It is. They have great eggs.
They do. And the staff there, they've been there forever, so you know them, and it's you go in and you say, oh, hey, Michelle, and
Michelle's been there 25 years.
Yeah.
She was there when the Dunlap started and continues.
Yeah, she's been there the whole time. And then her sister works there too now.
Angie. Yep.
Angie, yep. So it's nice to go in and see familiar faces and get some good food. And, it's and you kind of always see somebody there too.
Every time. Every time I'm there, I see somebody I know.
Yeah. So that's a good place to go. So, all right. So now you got all that. And then you're working on an antique shop?
Behind what used to be Dunlap's, which is now Federal Pointe Grill, there is a carriage house, an old carriage house. And we repointed the bricks and we're converting it into an antique shop.
Oh, nice.
And actually, probably tomorrow will be the first day.
Oh, no kidding.
Very
exciting.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Oh, good.
So my passion is, antiques.
Now, how'd you get into that?
Grew up going to auctions.
I was going to say, he's from Gettysburg.
Yes.
What else do you do?
Oh, but everybody has a story. Yeah. It's just from Gettysburg. It's not in your blood,
Do you? No.
Wait, let him finish.
Okay.
No, so I continue to go to auctions from childhood till today.
What is it about the auction? I had a friend who spent thousands of dollars at auction. He would never get anything substantially good. It was always boxes of crap for $5. Like it would literally say, box of crap, $5. And then he'd be like, let's see what we got. And it was never anything really interesting.
Oh, every once in a while.
A kazoo, maybe.
It's just fun to do.
Yeah.
So is that it? It's just fun to see like what?
It's sometimes I go and I buy a soda and I spend the day and I call it my therapy.
Really?
Yeah. And it's, I'll spend the day and not buy a thing. And then other days it's like, okay, when am I going to stop buying? So.
Yeah, your wife starts yelling at you, stop bringing this stuff home.
Yeah.
Like, where do you put everything?
Yeah, well, I have a couple storage units.
Oh, you'd have to have. Oh, yeah, but I mean, you're not just put it all up there.
No, some of it's in the hotel.
Okay.
For the really good pieces.
So, like, you get a good piece of furniture, you're going to use that somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, for instance, a couple of years ago, the art director for The Godfather fell in hard times, and he had a storage unit, and the storage unit went to auction. And so I was there, and I bought a painting that was in Godfather 1.
Really?
And so, it's a prized possession. And so I got the video to watch, and I kept, glued to it, and I found it. Yeah.
And so it's like really hidden in the background.
Yeah.
It's not like, I got this painting from, it's like,
it was on the wall.
It's not part of the storyline.
No, right.
No, it's not.
But it's there. That's cool though. That storage unit must have gone for quite a penny. If he had a lot of stuff like that in there, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Did that get him whole again, or?
I don't know.
I hope so.
Yeah.
If they're selling the storage unit, it was the storage place selling it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, so
he didn't get anything from that.
Oh, poor Guido. No. What was his name?
Oh my God.
He worked in The Godfather. What do you want from me? I don't know.
But anyway, so your antique place.
Yes.
Do you specialize, like when you go out, do you specialize in certain things? Because there's some that do furniture. There's some that do pop culture.
A mix. I'll have rings and necklaces and furniture and just things that I like that catch my eye.
Yeah. Now, are you the type of, see, my grandmother used to do this. She would go and she'd be like, I'm going to sell this in the store. And then it became hers.
The best is when my wife sees something that I'm going to sell.
Yeah.
And she goes, we can't sell that.
Yeah, that would be me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's hard because a lot of times they're one of a kind or they're hard to find. And so once you have it, it's like, oh man, I might never see something like this again. Right?
True.
You know what I love? Oh, so, we're in the process of buying a house, and the previous house we had an offer on was built in the 1800s. And so we were looking, at antique furniture to put in there. And I saw on Facebook Marketplace an old ice box, with the 3 different doors. And I remember my aunt and uncle down in Virginia, they had one in their house. And I don't know why, I just thought it was the coolest thing. It looks really cool. And all they would do is put, a plant on top of it, maybe some books or something inside, but it just looks so cool. And they're very common.
Yeah,
they're way more common than I thought.
Don't bring a whole lot of money.
No, but they're nice.
Yeah, they're neat.
Yeah, they're very neat. And some of them are in really good. There was one, it was really good shape. It was like $500.
Right.
And I was like, this would be perfect for the house because it was stained the same color as the living room was and everything. But alas, We didn't get the house. I'm glad I didn't buy that because I don't think it'll go in the house that we're getting now. But I love that stuff. And just like the old like farm type furniture, like they don't make furniture the way they used to make furniture.
They don't. And when you go to an auction, they sell for a little bit of nothing.
Yeah.
I mean,
which is astounding to me because to me that stuff is way more valuable than anything. It just, and I love when it's a little worn.
Yes.
I don't want it looking perfect.
Some character.
Yeah. No, I like that. So, okay. So tell us though, what are we going to expect to see in the antique shop? What kind of antiques are we talking? All types of things?
God, yes. Dining room table.
There you go.
There you go, Sin.
Clawfoot kitchen table, old.
Oh, yeah.
A step back cupboard with the wavy glass.
Those are nice.
We should do a tour.
A lot of stuff.
Yeah, we'll have to come in there. So you're going to open tomorrow. What time?
I am. Probably around 10.
And are you gonna man the shop yourself?
I will, or one of my people will go over. And
one of my people.
I
want to be one of those people.
I want to be the person who says one of my people.
Yeah, I wish I was one of those people.
All right, we'll switch places then. You could be one of my people.
Well, you can't go tomorrow.
Why?
Because I work tomorrow.
I feel like something else is going. Oh, I have to go. I have a video shoot. Oh, no, but that's only in the morning. I can go in the afternoon.
No. Again, you misunderstand what I'm saying. You can't go tomorrow because I work tomorrow and I want to go too.
Oh, I understand. Are you going to be open during the weekend?
Yes, we will.
All right. Are you doing anything over the weekend? We can all go.
I can go during the day.
Okay. Well, then we'll go and do during the weekend then. Okay. Saturday. I think we'll check with Cindy. See what the schedule is.
He doesn't know his own schedule anymore.
No, I don't. I don't.
It's pretty pathetic.
It is. Now, what's not pathetic is all the stuff that Pete has going on with Federal Pointe. Federal Pointe Inn, Federal Pointe Grill, and are you calling it
Federal Pointe Antiques?
Antiques?
Yes.
Okay. So we got a theme.
Smart.
We do.
Of Federal Pointe.
So, and the great thing is it's all on one block.
Yeah.
And so I have the entire block.
Right. That's true. You can park in one spot and walk to all three places.
You can, absolutely.
Yeah. You can stay at the hotel, have your breakfast and lunch at the grill, go antique shopping, then go to the battlefield, come back for dinner at the pub.
That's correct.
And
it's all one-stop shop.
You save so much in gas
Post
except for your trip to
right
the battlefield.
across the street.
But you can walk. Yeah, you mail a letter right across the street.
Postcard.
And then you can go up to the Seminary Museum all by foot.
Oh,
You don't even have to drive.
Absolutely.
You can walk up to the Seminary Ridge Museum and Education Center, and you can look at the battlefield.
Now, since you're right there,
yes,
that shopping center
is owned by someone in northern Jersey.
Oh, those are the worst people.
Can you try to find that out?
Why? What do you want to buy it?
No, but can you imagine?
If he could get that and then
sprucing it up and everything,
turn it into what would you do with that? It couldn't be a shopping center. You got to do something like tear it down.
It needs something
and put something else
old.
there. It is old.
I can remember it was a grocery store when I was growing up in Acme.
Really?
Store. Yeah.
There you can have a grocery store, Federal Pointe Grocery.
Kenny's is right there.
Well, the Federal Pointe General Store. And, have it be more.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what you would do, though.
I don't know either.
Because you can't. The novelty of a general store not having modern things, that wouldn't work. Because who's going to want to buy old? You know what I mean?
I don't know.
We'll think about it. We'll get back to you on what you could do with that. But So
in Clarion, they have general stores in a surrounding area. Mm-hmm. I'll send you some pictures.
Okay.
I have a great idea. You could totally do this. What?
No, I was looking at the eyes you were making was psychotic. Yeah, you were like,
send me the picture.
Okay, you could totally make the coolest little general store. Oh my God, what a great idea. Let's do it. I can't give you any more for it. I have $1.50 to my name, but I've got great ideas.
What'd you say?
Look at those eyes.
I know, they're crazy eyes.
Yeah, you dug something out there.
I know. Thanks,
it's not that bad.
Good job.
Thanks.
All right, now, the hotel is I hear a lot of good things about it. Like I said, my friend stayed there. He really liked it. There's some people that were actually commenting here that they've stayed there as well, and they find it to be a very enjoyable place to stay. And you've also had some pretty famous people come in there. Oh, these buddies of yours, or they just accidentally show up?
Like Mickey Dolenz from the Monkees.
Right.
And then we've had Roger Ailes.
Fox
News guy.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the best story of all. So he shows up. We didn't know he was coming with his chauffeur and his 15-year-old son. And that was in 2015.
Okay.
And when Trump was running for, the presidency.
Mm-hmm.
And so Megyn Kelly had done an interview with Trump and just raked him over the coals.
Oh, yeah.
So Roger Ailes comes the next day. He's in our lobby. His phone rings. It's Donald J. Trump.
Really?
Yeah. Just saying, how could she
fire Megyn Kelly?
Yeah.
She's the worst.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he goes,
I thought we were friends.
Roger Ailes says to Trump, so I'm here with my son. We're on vacation. Don't bother me.
Wow.
And so he goes, let me talk to your son. I want to talk to the kid's 15 years old.
Tell your father, fire Megyn Kelly.
So Roger Ailes hangs up.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. So that was in our lobby.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you mark it with a plaque where that was?
Oh my God, I know exactly where it was. So it was good.
So that's pretty interesting, though.
So that was fun.
So, but then Mickey, I know that he knows Eric
through Cheryl and Eric Dorr.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So he stays there, I guess, when he comes to town. Does he come to town often?
Yeah, not a whole lot. Not a whole lot.
I've yet to meet him. I used to love watching the Monkees in reruns when I was a kid.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's the last surviving monkey.
one?
Yes.
Yes.
He went on tour with Peter Tork, and then Peter died, and then he went on tour with Mike.
And then Mike died. Yeah.
And Mike died.
I know.
Don't go on tour.
Don't go on tour with Mickey, but Mickey's the last one.
Yeah,
Lesson learned.
Yeah, moral of that story.
I just like last week or whatever week that was when we had Shining Stars on, there was a joke that I was like, no, that would be in poor taste. I'm not going to make it. And then Beth swoops right in and makes the joke. And I think it works better because it's less offensive when it comes from your mouth.
I am just an angel sent from the Lord.
But really, though, I mean, it does sound like it's bad luck to go on tour.
Yeah.
Mary McDonnell, who was in Dance with Wolves.
She was nominated for Academy Award for that movie with Kevin Costner.
Yeah. So, she was very good.
Yeah, she was great.
And she came to Federal Pointe Inn?
She came and stayed, and then she came down to our pub with her husband. And our bartender they didn't recognize her at the front desk. The bartender said, he looked familiar. And it was.
And she called him Lieutenant.
Yeah.
Because that's from the movie.
Yes.
Okay.
I've never seen this movie.
Really? Dances with Wolves. Okay. That's crazy. And now, have you seen... You've seen Dances with Wolves, of course.
Yes, I have.
Right? You like it?
Yes.
How about Horizon? Have you seen Horizon?
I have not.
So Colby and I went and saw Colby.
Pete, run.
Yeah, I'm
run.
here. I'm here.
So we went and saw Horizon before we came back from the show. So we haven't.
Oh, we haven't talked about it.
No.
Well, we talked about it a little.
Would you recommend Pico see Horizon?
No, I wouldn't. And
really?
That hurts.
Did you think it was that bad?
It hurts my heart to say that, but no. We want to. Are we gonna get into this?
No.
Okay.
I'm just. We can get into it later.
Pete,
I don't
I'll
waste
tell
the
you.
man's time.
This is my quick reason.
Hungry.
This is my quick, 5-second reason why.
Go ahead.
He can't hear you.
No, I can.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He tried to tie too many stories into one story. By the end of the movie, I know there's a second part, but by the end of the movie, you still feel like you don't really know what's going on. You don't really know the characters.
Right.
Like nothing. I don't want to spoil. Kevin Costner is only in like 10 minutes of the movie.
Well, but he's the hero, and we had to, build the world around the hero, and we've introduced the hero, and now the hero starts kicking butt.
They spent too much time building the world.
It's a shame. It's a shame.
We both walked out of that movie like, oh.
I know. The first thing I said was, it's bad when I could make a better Western than Kevin Costner.
I don't know what happened.
For half the money, give me half the money, I will make a better Western than Kevin Costner just did there. And he makes good Westerns.
He does. I don't get it.
That's what broke my heart. But
Like
here's the
Open
thing.
Range was great.
I would go see it anyway. Don't listen to us because you know what it is? It's on streaming now. So you don't even need to go to the theater. It's on everything, HBO, Amazon, whatever. Watch it there. See what you think about it. And remember, it's setting up a 4-part series. So you got to give it time to breathe. But it
Report back.
Yeah, it did have me worried. I would just say, go ahead and watch it in case Kevin Costner ever comes and stays at the hotel. And
that would be nice.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
I hear he's nice.
So I have a standing order at the visitor center that if anyone famous comes in, I require a text message.
Okay.
Which I do get, which is fantastic. So whenever anyone famous comes in, I'll give you my number. Just text me. I won't be weird. I promise. I just like to know.
Isn't that some kind of violation of doctor-patient confidentiality or something like that?
There is no doctor-patient confidentiality.
Not with a hotel.
Yeah.
Hotel patient confidentiality.
It's just good to know because every other time I've met somebody famous, you know how like you know them, but you don't know why you know them.
Right.
And every single time I have embarrassed the bejesus out of myself because I come up to them going, "Hey, how are you?" And I think I must know them from somewhere around town.
Yeah.
No, they're famous.
I met Paul Giamatti once out in front of Kilwins.
Did you really?
Yeah. I was walking past him and I recognized his voice. As he walked past me, he said something to his son. And I go, man, that sounds like Paul Giamatti. And I turned around and it was him, but he had a beard. And I just reflexively went, Mr. Giamatti. And he went, yes. And I was like, I was just I'm a fan of your work. Welcome to Gettysburg. And then I went inside to kill. Was like, I just said hi to Paul Giamatti. But that was cool. You never know who you're going to see here.
You don't.
And that's what's cool about living here is it's a national shrine, but it's an internationally known place. And everybody has heard of it. And everybody, if they get the chance, wants to. Remember years ago, the King of Jordan rode his motorcycle through and went to the Harley dealership?
I didn't know that.
That was somewhere between 2005 and 2010 when I first lived here. So I don't remember what year exactly, but yeah, everybody's like, the King of Jordan's down at the Harley dealership. And I'm like, who? But apparently he was a big fan of America.
Yeah, I think, he married an American. And
that's right.
That one was from Jersey, I think.
Jersey
Went
girl.
to Princeton.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. There's always someone that's here that Sissy Spacek was here during that time as well.
Well, in the last election, all those guys came.
Well, we've had
Trump and
we've
Biden.
had Stephen Lang, who's here all the time, and Glenn Beck.
Slang, as we call him.
Slang. Yeah. Yeah, Glenn Beck, I remember Sarah Palin drove through on the Palin Express or whatever her bus was called.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Sue Boardman gave Bernie Sanders his tour of the battlefield.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think it was Sue.
That's funny.
Can you imagine the two of them together?
Oh, my God.
I remember somebody told me they gave a tour to, not Dean Koontz, who's the other guy? Other author like that.
John Grisham.
John Grisham.
Wow.
And he donated money for, I think, the 11th Mississippi Monument, if I'm not mistaken. Is he from Mississippi?
I don't know that.
Google that, please. But I think that's
Debbie,
true.
Get on it.
I think that's true that he's the one that donated money to it, and not entirely, but some money. There's always somebody interesting here.
Well, one of the neat things too is back when we had the Quality Inn, the Eisenhower, Ike had stayed there before we owned it, but when the Larsons owned it, he had stayed there.
Really?
And then George Patton had stayed there.
So wait, how old was that place?
Sure, the place was from, I want to say the 30s. They had cabins
it was
at one
old.
time.
Yeah.
And then they built, the motel part of it in the 40s. So, and then George C. Scott had stayed there, and Dukes of Hazzard, Snyder.
John Snyder?
John Snyder stayed there, when I was there. And some other people. But
So
it's cool.
So Eisenhower stayed there. I'm assuming before he bought the farm.
Yes.
I mean, not when he died, but before he bought the Eisenhower farm, and then Patton. So that had to be West Point days, or when was Patton?
Yeah, he was testing out tanks, and with rubber treads.
Okay.
It came through Gettysburg, and
so it was later. It wasn't Camp Colt, or it was what?
After World War I.
After World War One. Yeah. Okay, so between the World Wars. Yeah. He wasn't General Patton.
Right.
Yeah. But still.
He was
Patton.
Colonel Patton.
He was Patton.
He was Patton. So that's interesting that I didn't realize that place went that far back
Yeah, I
Yeah, it did.
to cabins.
No,
Yeah.
the other Quality Inn
Yes.
has one of those little cabins. Is that from yours?
It does not. It was from theirs.
Did the Larsons own both?
No, they didn't. The Witts, Paul Witt,
Yeah.
and his father had owned that, and they had cabins.
Okay.
And so very similar.
So cute.
Very similar to the cabins that the Larsons had.
Well, yeah, and there were cabins, I think, up by the Buford statue, or was that a gas station?
That, I don't know. That's
There
a good
was
that's
a
I
weird.
remember the
motel.
museum up there.
Sheeds.
Yeah, that's what I'm
yeah.
thinking. There was a museum.
There was the Peace Light Motel.
Oh,
which was
yeah,
up
the
was a
closer
Peace
to
Light.
Thomasburg
Light Inn.
Road.
Yeah.
We used to go there growing up. You know, it had a restaurant.
Yeah.
And then behind it, you're absolutely right, it had cabins.
Okay.
It was directly across from the Peace Light Memorial.
What was that like growing up in Gettysburg? Because, I grew up in New Jersey, but I couldn't wait to get out of it. And I fell in love with this place on a field trip. And I live here now and I love it. But growing up here, especially pre the way everything is today,
Right.
had to be awesome.
Oh, it was great. I mean, like, for instance, we grew up above the funeral home.
Yeah.
So, when there was funerals or viewings, we couldn't make a sound. We couldn't even flush the toilet.
Right.
And then, we would leave in the morning and then we wouldn't come back till it started to get dark. But there was a junkyard in the middle of Gettysburg behind the funeral home. And,
Okay. Where that big
now
empty
it's-
lot is?
Now it's senior housing.
Okay.
Where that used to be a junkyard.
Yeah.
And, crushed cars and newspapers and so forth.
No kidding.
And we used to play in that
Yeah.
all day. Yeah.
Oh, well, the imagination could go wild in a
it's
place
really
like that.
cool.
Yeah. So where was that your favorite place to play as a kid, like a
Yes.
little kid? Because it was like right behind your house.
Exactly. Yes.
As you get older, what do you do? Where do you hang out then?
Oh, God. Tommy's Pizza. It used to be where the train station is on North Washington Street.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
And so, on a Friday or Saturday night, everyone used to, hang out Tommy's Pizza.
Right.
Then it has since moved out to Steinway.
Yeah.
And so that was one of the things.
So you go to Tommy's.
And just hang out right around the car. Just
Go, like in American Graffiti, just go
Yeah.
cruising and yelling out the window at people.
exactly.
Where do kids hang out now? Like, where's the
they're
thing?
on their,
Yeah.
they're on their phone.
They're in the
guess.
basement on their
Yeah,
phones.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but they're all in the same room with each other.
It's not like, I don't know if
Sitting.
I've ever seen a group of the high school kids hanging out somewhere in town.
Well, you don't live in town. So
No,
like
but
after hours.
I'm around, like,
Yeah, I've seen. Well, so I lived by the college for a while, and they're all in their gangs. But like,
but the high school kids?
I mean, I saw 3 high school kids.
3?
No, but they were together, and they were riding their bikes down Chambersburg Street, just right in the middle of Chambersburg Street, disregarding like people coming in both directions. And one kid, now they're on, bikes with, the big wheels, the thin tires, like hybrid bikes. They're like not street bikes, but they're not mountain bikes, And this one kid thought he was being cool. And right in front of the church, he goes to pop up on the curb, but he doesn't really have the angle right. And he doesn't have the wheels for it. And he just goes right over and tumbles on the sidewalk. And I'm walking down the street, and I saw them come and riding like a bunch of jerks. And I saw that, and I couldn't help myself. I just busted out laughing and like I couldn't stifle it. But the lady behind me also joined me because she thought the same thing. Like, you kind of got what you deserved,
Yeah.
And it's always nice to see someone get their comeuppance. But Yeah, you don't see a lot of kids playing around here.
You don't.
And I remember we did a tour once with Dean Schultz, and we were just peppering him with all different types of questions. And somebody asked him, what was it like growing up here when you were a kid? And he would tell us all these stories and stuff. And he said he was just talking about, drinking on Big Round Top and, just all these things that you would be like, oh my God, like you couldn't even, it's abhorrent to think of doing these things. And I think he said something like, if you went metal detecting down around Big Round Top, you'd mostly pull up my old beer cans. Like, it's like you'll take a while before you get to the bullets,
Yeah.
And I can't imagine, but I've met other people who tell of drinking at Devil's Den in high school and, sneaking around and it was always an adventure. And then like if the Rangers caught you, it was kind of like a game. They'd be like, all right, go home, guys. It wasn't like that. Now they just string you up. Like,
stuff still happens at Little Round at Devil's Den.
Oh, I'm sure it does.
We did a brush clearing there a couple years ago and pulled out several pairs of men's underwear.
What?
Yeah.
So what do you think is happening
At Devil's Den.
Yeah, really. What is going on at Devil's Den?
Yeah. It was quite entertaining. I had a group of volunteers out there and they were like clearing the weeds and stuff. And then all of a sudden he's like,
oh, but Cindy, now we know where those missing pair of underwear are.
oh, this is way before you and Cindy were together.
Good. All right. Well, listen. The antique shop, Federal Pointe Antiques Co. is opening tomorrow.
Yes.
And it'll be open all weekend. Is that a 7-day-a-week thing or?
Initially, I'm going to try to do weekends and upon request.
Okay.
So we'll have a sign there that call us up. We'll come over, open it up.
Okay.
But, a couple days a week.
Yeah, it's not like you're far away.
No.
The Federal Pointe Grill is open 7 days a week, serving breakfast 7 to 11 a.m. and then lunch 11 to 2. And they are serious about that. I went in there once at
ready to
at 10:59, and they're like, "Sorry, it's."
See, what happens is they clean the grills,
right,
and because there are the eggs on the grill and the whole bed, and they clean the grill to get ready for the lunch,
right,
and they don't want to cross contaminate.
Yeah.
So
I do have one bone to pick.
Oh,
go ahead.
Sourdough bread, toast, sourdough.
Get it or
for breakfast? Just saying.
You want it?
Multiple people ask while I'm there. Just saying.
So,
but full disclosure, she's part of the Sourdough Bread Lovers Club, so they're a little biased when they go there. But you can get it from Gettysburg Baking Company. They have wonderful sourdough bread.
Bagels are made fresh by the Ragged Edge.
Oh, yeah?
So Jake supplies.
I didn't know
bagels.
He makes bagels.
Yeah, New York style bagels.
Really?
Awesome.
Yeah.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
Oh,
where have you been?
Not eating his bagels. Clearly. All right, that's good to know.
Yes.
Yeah.
The other thing too is we just formulated one of the famous Texas hot dogs.
Okay.
That, one time was served here in Gettysburg.
And Ernie's.
So and so anyway, we have one that is comparable.
Okay, good.
So, with the works.
All right.
The chili, the mustard, the onions, everything.
Okay, sourdough bread.
Sourdough bread.
Okay, just got to do that. And then, of course, the Federal Pointe Inn and Pub, all in the same building.
Yes.
Very much worth your time, ladies and gentlemen. Really, truly, it is a beautiful place. And if you like repurposed buildings, which I do too, I've always wanted to get like a little red schoolhouse and live in it. You know, those are cool. I knew somebody who did that, and I thought it was the coolest thing in the world.
Well, as a matter of fact, my wife and I, 4 years ago, purchased a post office in South Jersey.
Really?
Near Avalon, Cape May.
Yeah.
And we repurposed it.
That's awesome.
So
what do you go and stay there, or is it like an Airbnb?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Stay there. It's an 1850s post office.
That's so cool.
And so that's fun.
We just need to hang out with you more often.
Hey, come to Federal Pointe Pub.
Yeah, we're going to have to do that. We're going to have to go there. What time does that close?
That closes at 10 o'clock.
We should go there for dinner instead of going to places that say we're closed. Yes. They're open till 10 o'clock.
So
what time does the kitchen close?
The kitchen closes at 9.
Oh. See?
Why does everybody close so early? Is it because nobody goes anywhere after 8?
Yeah, I guess. It's about, people coming to the...
You need money. You can't just have people...
Are really quick with the news.
All right, well, that's up to you ladies. Well, really, it's up to Ralph, because Ralph, I asked him to give me 5 pieces of advice.
There's some great things like cannolis that we'll make for you or creme brulee.
Oh, now you're talking.
Yeah. Do you do a skillet cookie?
We do.
Huh? Really?
Do
you come up with the menu?
Cookie. Yeah. What's that?
Do you come up with the menu or who?
You know what? I test everything. Of course. So it's like, okay, if I don't like it, more than likely it wouldn't be on there.
Right. Yeah. So it's everything meets with your seal of approval.
Everything.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, good. All right. Well, maybe if we can ever finish the show early, we can get there before the kitchen closes.
Yes.
Yeah. We'll send Mike over to get a table.
Or the other thing is call us and I'll keep it up for you.
Oh, you don't have to.
So sweet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, do we want to go there tonight, everybody? Should we tell them to keep it open? Because we're not going to be done on time, I guarantee you. Oh, we'll give you a little more notice than just now. Yeah. Well, you know what we'll do is we'll decide ahead of time that we want to go, and then we'll say, hey, we might be late tonight. Can you stay open a little later?
Absolutely.
Okay, all right, we'll do that.
And we'll order ahead.
Yes.
That way we know what to make.
Sure. Yeah, all right, good idea. Is the menu online?
It is.
People can check out the menu online? Yep. All right, very good. All right, so Pete, thank you very much for coming on.
This has been wonderful.
This has really been nice. And ladies and gentlemen, don't forget Federal Pointe Inn, Pub, Grill, Antiques Company. Definitely worth your time and visit and money when you come to Gettysburg. We'll be right back after these words.
Craving a Hot Pocket or a bag of popcorn? Now's the time to go and get it. We'll be right back.
Catch full episodes of AG Today live every Thursday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern to keep up with everything that's going on in Gettysburg and with the Addressing Gettysburg community.